What is up, guys? Elkers here, back with another video. In this video, I will be talking about laning phase in a very general sense. Laning phase is a very important part of the game. It's where you get most of your early gold, as well as where you can create an early lead. And the purpose of this video is to help you improve your laning phase. For the most part, this video is catered towards lower elo players like bronze, silver, gold, maybe even low plat, depending. But yeah, for the most part, it's just lower elo stuff, intermediate concepts. I will be covering three main concepts in this video. Those concepts being trading, efficient resource management, and thinking outside your own champion. So let's begin. First, let's start with trading. A lot of mistakes that I see in lower elo is that trading for them is like a coin flip. So they just go in not really taking into account what the outcome potential is going to be. Like, for example, they don't take into account other variables outside just, we're going to do damage to each other. There's a lot more than just we're going to do damage to each other to trading. So first, I want to talk about efficient trading. Efficient trading is you getting damage onto them while taking less damage. The most efficient trade would be you getting damage onto them without taking any damage at all. Now, in a perfect world, that's possible, but this isn't a perfect world, so it's not always possible to get that outcome. But there are situations where you can get that outcome. Those situations being, for example, if you're a ranged champion and they're a melee champion, for the most part, you can harass them without getting much damage back onto you. And yeah, but I think that the most efficient, not efficient, the most opportune time to trade as a laner is when you are CSing. Like, by that I mean when they're trying to CS, like get a creep score, they're focused on getting that creep, so they aren't really focused on getting damage onto you. What they want to do is get the creep so they get the gold. So if they're focused on it, you can get a spell off or an auto attack onto them without much retaliation back. So that's a situation where you want to look to trade. Always look to punish, but there is an exception. You do not want to punish if it means that you're gonna lose CS. Like, you gotta keep a balance between punishing and CSing. You want to CS yourself, but you want to try to deny and punish them while they're CSing. Likewise, that's what they're gonna look to do to you, right? Now let's talk about like when it's good times to trade and when it isn't. For example, let's take into account wave size. If they have a giant minion wave, like 2 or 3 waves stacked, and you decide to trade into that, you're gonna lose that trade. Even if you have the stronger champion and you're supposed to win trades, you still will turn a winning trade, what was supposed to be a winning trade for you, into at least equal trade, if not a losing trade. And that's not something you want. As well, that you could take the reverse of that if you're playing the champion that's supposed to lose trades, like gets pressured early by the other champion. If they decide to trade onto you in a large minion wave, you can turn a losing trade into a winning trade by using the extra minion damage. A lot of players early, like in low elos, don't take into account minion damage. Like, they know minions do damage, but they don't realize just how much they can actually do. Like right here in the video, as you can see, I take a lot of minion damage. I wanted to set up a freeze, but I messed up, so it didn't work. But yeah, as you saw there, I took, what, at least 25% of my HP, because I was at around 70%, and now I went to below half. So yeah, I took a lot of minion damage. So as you saw there, if it was a trade between two champions, me taking 25% HP from minions, that's a lot. So keep in mind minion wave size. Let's move on to the next concept, that's being efficient resource management. A lot of mistakes I see is low elo players don't take into account what they can do with the resources. For example, let's see. By resources, I mean HP and your secondary source, whatever it may be, mana, fury, rage, heat, what energy, whatever. But yeah, anyway, they don't take into account what they can do with it. They just spam it without really thinking if this is a good time to use it, or they just waste it nilly-willy. A good time to use it would be when you're trying to back. You're just trying to shove the weight as fast as you can, right? But a bad time to use it would be when there's really no reason to, when you're going to get the CS uncontested anyway. Unless you're playing like a Gangplank that gets more gold with his Q, then there's really no reason to waste your mana in that case. Especially if it's an AoE spell. If it's an AoE spell, the most efficient way to use that would be getting damage on the minions or getting a CS, as well as getting damage onto the enemy. For example, Nautilus with his E, if you go in for a minion and they see that, they recognize it, and they think they can punish you, what you can do is E right away, get that minion, and instead of autoing the minion, you auto them, meaning you don't waste time in between those two autos, right? You just make it one single auto onto them. That would proc your Colossus, since most of the time you are running Colossus on Nautilus, and then proc your shield. You already got the slow from the E. You're going to get more damage off with the E, as well as maybe more damage off with the W, the shield, as well as maybe a second E if it comes out in time. And the whole time you have a shield up, so you're not taking any actual damage since the shield is taking it. So what you do there is you extend the trade and make it better. And that would be an effective way to use your resources. You got the minion and you're getting damage onto them as well as the minion. Now let's move on to concept number 3, and that's thinking outside your own champion. A lot of people don't take into account what the enemy champion can do with their spells, what their own teammate can do with synergy alongside themselves. So what you want to do is think, like, do I have synergy with this champion? Can we do something together? Or this champion has this, he just used it, that means it's down, I can go in. For example, in the bot lane, if you're up against a Blitzcrank or a Thresh and they throw out their hook and they miss, that's like an 18-second window, I think, early on, of time where you can look to get aggressive onto them and punish them for using a spell and using it. For using a spell and whiffing it. My bad. But yeah, you gotta make your presence known. Like, yo, I will punish you if you mess up. Same thing in the top lane if you're up against like an AD caster like a Riven, or I guess Garen is an AD caster too. If they use their spells on the minions alone, like Riven EWs to get a minion, and then uses her third Q to get out, that's all her spells down. So you can look to get some damage onto her and force her to at least respect you more. For the most part, you do want to give Riven a lot of respect just because of all the damage they have. But you don't want to play so far back that you lose all your CS. So yeah, keep into account what everyone else can do as well. In closing, there is a lot more that goes into laning, right? Like setting up freezes, minion wave management, how you can manage your minion waves into a way that you can create advantage out of it, etc. There's a lot more stuff, but I just decided to cover these 3 main things for this video since they are more intermediate, not advanced concepts. So if the video helped you, make sure to leave a like. If you have any questions at all, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them. Or I'll make a video if I can expand on this more. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.